While the dogs continue to run riot, we have Firebreather with Under a Blood Moon. 6 tracks of 48 minutes, the second album the Swedish band released September 2019 via Riding Easy Records. Produced by Oscar Carlson, recorded at Elementon Studio in Gothenburg. 2 promo tracks have been released in Closed Gate and Dancing Flames. This is the band's first album with Axel Wickbeck on drums and is our random Spotify find for the week.
Right on. Doom's never really been kind of my favourite thing, and after listening to this, it still isn't.
Tim's probably going to love this record.
That being said, it's done pretty bloody well. It's very heavy, very, very sludgy. Not the kind of thing you're going to get naked and dance around the lounge room to. More the kind of thing you're going to be tied to the back of a ute and dragged slowly ass backwards through the mud. It's probably the best way I can describe it. It's sludge. It is a bit relentless. It is a bit monotonous, but Doom stuff often is.
It is, yeah.
But like I said, it is done pretty well. If Doom's your thing, you'll probably like it. It was hard for me to get over it. I got a bit bored, but it was kind of like hard work. I didn't want that. So I gave it 6 out of 10. The highlights were Closed Gate and Firebreather.
All right.
Yeah, very big, chunky stoner metal. Very sleep inspired. I think that's if you like. No, there's a band called Sleep.
Yes, there is.
There's a band called Sleep. It released an album called Dope Smoker, with a title track that goes for 20 minutes.
Right.
This band is.
Out there too.
I'd say this band is very sleep inspired. If that's your thing, check it out. If not, stay away. I did like, there were little bits of variety in there if you're into the style. Like there was some sort of vocal lines that sort of reminded me a little bit of Crowbar and that kind of thing with that little rhythmic kind of stuff going in there. And he had that kind of vocal tone as well. The way I've described this is it's... I don't know if I look at my notes.
If you can get to them.
Yes, it's sludgier than Bogzilla, but more stoner metal than Neurosis.
Yeah.
And it's that little middle ground there.
I don't even know what any of those words mean.
Right. If you understand the language I'm just speaking, then you'll probably enjoy it.
Dragged ass backwards through the mud reference was a bit more...
If you don't understand the words I'm saying, then listen to his review and you'll enjoy it a little more.
The review of the album.
Both. Actually, we had the same highlight though. Closed Gate, 8 out of 10.
There you go.
All right. Well, there you go. It's a trifecta on the highlight track. The shortest song on this release is 6 minutes and 48 seconds. So settle in. Long compositions that is that whole fuzzy, doomy stoner rock kind of record. Very dark, very fuzzy. The tones are certainly typical for the style of music. Combine that with almost black metal vocals though, and you get something that's just a touch different on this release. The interesting thing about this one in particular was how the drums cut through on the mix. I thought that particularly the toms and the snare, they use that well. Like I don't normally get into the style of music, and I'm not sitting here as a convert to the style of music, but hearing a lot more of this genre, you notice the differences that come through, and the drumming on this was new member, and they've made a statement with the new member on that part of it. Around that, the top end is all fucking washed out and all that stuff as you expect. But the guitar and bass rumble through it all nicely in sync with each other, and that leaves the vocals to sort of just echo around and do their thing while Caesar does his thing. There's little to no melody here aside from riffs, which are the backbone of this release. The light and shade come from the use of solos on this. Around the sludge, they cut through pretty nicely. The tone isn't as overdriven as a lot of the other stoner rock kind of records are, which I thought was refreshing to me because I do get tired of the heavily overdriven fuzz guitar. It's like, enough of that. They dial it back a bit on this one, which is cool. And the vocals coming through with the reverb, and that made it all a bit sort of more atmospheric than a lot of it, and gave it more to play with. Even though the songs are more drawn out and the album as such is more drawn out in that term of things than what I traditionally like, there is a lot of the definitive differences between the songs stood out because a lot of the stoner rock kind of stuff I sit there and go, okay, I can't tell one song ends, the next one begins. This one you can, and it's pretty clear. That, or I'm hearing a lot more of it and I'm getting used to it. I don't know which one it is. But it's more interesting. This one was one of the more interesting ones in this area of music for me. It offers a few points of difference and doesn't just fall back onto the tropes that are typical of the genre. It's pretty cool. If you're not a fan of this style, this probably won't change your mind, but there are maybe a few points of interest here that might be enough to sort of get you curious about it. You have an 8 out of 10. I pick Closed Gate and Our Souls They Burn as my standouts. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think. Too bad.
What do you have? Firebreather.
Firebreather, Under a Blood Moon.
Excellent name for an album.
It is.
Bin, close, pee break.
Dog in the bin at the moment.
You in the bin, dog?
You gotta fit in the bin.
the fucking bin.
Go to
Doug, what are you doing? Come here. Come here. Normally is.
Yeah,
There
agreed.
is no Dana, only Zool.
Sounds like Firebreather.
That little huff at the end was fucking.
Yeah, it sounds like Firebreather.